this terribly polluted part of the world, Nai Delhi. But he prefers to remain in Bangalore, in Bengaluru, where he writes about conflict, ethnicities, wildlife, human rights, women, poverty, media, cinema. Left out a few things? No, maybe not. He's co-authored a book, co-authored two with others. He's been a journalist with the Press Trust of India in Kolkata. He joined the Telegraph newspaper. He's written about the Northeast. He shifted ways to Delhi in 1988. He's handled publications for various organizations. And the last stint he had in the mainstream media was with Bengaluru edition of the DNA newspaper. And besides his writing interests, he works as a political and an environmental risk analyst and an editorial consultant with both voluntary organization and corporate. So ladies and gentlemen, bhaiyo aur behno, deviyo aur sajjano, a big hand to the person who's made this possible. He's put it together in just around a year and a half. And so thank you so much, Shubir. Please.
The advantage of speaking after so many eminent panelists is that you can afford to say last but not the least. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to talk about the book, but I do think that the book should actually talk about itself. Now, there are a few things that I would like to say, some things that have been alluded to by the speakers earlier. Now, it is kind of a given that there are a number of problems and issues that plague the media, that plague journalism. Now, the incidence of increased corporatization of the media, the question of falling standards in journalism, the malaise of paid news are all issues that we are aware about. But if we leave these aside for a moment, there is still a number of media related issues that need to be talked about. And herein we, as authors of this book, do have an argument to make. We believe that in spite of all these problems, there are still lots of journalists, writers, and also researchers in this country who try to do their jobs as responsible journalists, but are hounded and persecuted for sticking to the line of duty. Now, I believe more journalists have been killed or physically attacked in the last 2 years here in this country, relatively speaking, compared to the previous 20 years or so. And then there are also these apparently silent attacks that have been taking place in the form of slap suits. The latter have been specifically the issue that we wanted to raise through this book and address it to the people of this country. There are journalists, there are lawyers who are aware about these things, but we thought that the people of this country need to be told what we are going through. It's really not that easy being an investigative journalist, and definitely not a writer, which means a writer is basically an independent person. Now, it is our understanding and belief that if some journalists are shackled, then there are others who perforce become victims of what is called the chilling effect. Then what happens is that it is the people of this country do not get to know what's happening in the country. And then what happens? It is that the democratic process itself kind of takes a hit. Now, people of this country need to be told that while on one hand there are innumerable reasons why journalistic standards have been falling. Paranjo has been writing for years together about these things. We really don't need to talk about those things, I believe, on this platform. I mean, we have done it to the death. What we believe that there are still many journalists who try to rise to the occasion, but are pulled down by corporate slabs. And that, I need to tell you, is why this book has been written. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shubir. I think it's his innate modesty which has perhaps constrained or restrained Shubir from telling you more about this book. But as his co-author, I'm less constrained. I think what we've tried to talk about and what he's really, and I'm so happy that Sunita has spoken with the passion that she always has, and what we're always very proud of her. I mean, whether we agree with her on everything or not is immaterial, but that she has with such a great deal of passion in invested in all the work and all the effort that she's done is something that's made all of us proud. So there is an entire chapter which talks about, which essentially focuses on the Center for Science and Environment and the many battles it's fought, and similar battles that have been fought by photographers. I mean, we talk about a young woman who, thanks to her skills as a rapper, she's managed to highlight a problem which concerns one of the world's biggest multinational corporation, the Unilever Corporation, the Dutch and British conglomerate used to say that they control the Unilever controls the levers of the universe. But the fact is, the power of multinational corporations are such that sometimes we have some hope that here is a young musician who can take them on and take them on successfully. So they come up with a huge long explanation about what happened in Kodaikanal. We've talked about a very gutsy, the stories behind the stories, as we say. A very gutsy Australian journalist, Hamish MacDonald. His book was available in a pirated form. But his book about Dhirubhai Ambani and the Polyester Prince was not his first investigative book. I mean, he's written about Suharto in Indonesia. He's written about what's happening in Timor-Leste. He's talked about Australia, what's happening in Australia. So there is, I mean, for us, the fact that he spoke to us at great length and he read through what us was really something very, very gratifying. He's not here with us, but we also have written about Tamal Bandyopadhyay, who took on this amazing battle against one of the most high profile, one of the richest men in this country, Subrata Roy Sahara. And very few of us could have imagined that he'd be spending more than 2 years behind bars in Tihar. None of us could have imagined that it would happen. We have here the story about the Ruyas, the SR group, how they took on Caravan magazine and others. We talked about, already mentioned, Sucheta Dalal versus National Stock Exchange. We talk about India Bulls versus Veritas. We talk about Ajay Shah of the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy versus another Shah, Jignesh Shah, who's again been in the news for all the wrong reasons. We have a story about the Times of India, Bennett Coleman Company Limited versus Financial Times versus a young student from Calcutta versus yours truly. We've also talked about how the Times of India has been sued by the biggest ever case of its kind. After Josie Joseph broke the story about how a draft report of the Controller and Auditor General of India had talked about how the electricity distribution companies in Delhi were talking about. There are many. We're so happy to have with us here Maheshwar Perry. Maheshwar Perry was a former publisher of Outlook. And he took on a well-known gentleman affectionately called Mr. Ponytail, and he used to run, he still runs an organization called the Indian Institute of Planning and Management, and we're so happy that he had the guts to fight it all the way through, and he's emerged successful. I mean, he took on Caravan, he took on Mr. Maheshwar Perry, and I remember him talking about it, and there were very few people who were willing to antagonize him because he was such a huge advertiser. I mean, he would take out these big newspaper ads with the front full pages of newspapers. So there are many, many stories. There's a story about why Mr. Shiv Nadar never got his own biography published. There are many, many, many other stories in this. You better buy the book and read it. Okay. So, publisher, salesman, yours truly.